Welcome back to My Way's Great Barrier Reef Special.
Despite what somebody might hear about through the media, that the reef is still incredibly beautiful and incredibly worth visiting, but that doesn't mean it's not under threat, because you've got this difference between what you see in an individual area that you go to visit versus the averages of the much broader picture of a reef that's 2,600 kilometres long and incredibly varied.
Time to introduce John and Jenny, a couple that can always be found in or on the water. After drifting down from the Northern Hemisphere, they set their roots in the Great Barrier Reef, just off Port Douglas, in more ways than one.
I'm Jenny.
I'm John.
Come and see our coral garden.
We first came to Australia in 1992. We were originally born and brought up in England and Scotland. Wasn't our choice. Would have much rather been born and brought up here. We first learnt to dive in other tropical reefs, and then the first dive on a coral reef is just amazing for pretty much anybody. We both studied marine biology, and it was just always a dream to be able to come and live and work on the Great Barrier Reef. It's just like the most iconic great coral reef in the world.
Having arrived separately at a section of reef off from Rockhampton, John and Jenny both happened to start on the same dive instructor's course.
That's where we met.
Yeah. Well, you've got a bad memory because we didn't meet here.
No, I mean, we met properly, as in,
yeah, sure.
You know, that's where we shacked up.
Wherever they met, now together they had a bond that could only be matched by their love for the reef itself.
Like, we've probably, stopped counting how many dives we've done in the early 1990s, and every time it's not unusual to see something you've never seen before.
It's so important and so spectacular, and it's just so important that it is preserved if possible, and conserved. We want people to come out and see the beauty, but also learn about it during the day, and take away a passion and a bit more of an understanding, and that want to conserve it is really one of the main parts of what we do here.
So one of the things we do since 2018 is planting coral. It's actually one of the largest coral planting projects in the world at the moment. The Coral Nurture Programme was developed really in response to the mass bleaching damage in this region of 2016 and 2017. The shocking thing for everybody was that the worst impacted area was the very far north of the Great Barrier Reef, and that was the area where there's least human impact. One of the interesting things is that the coral here is so healthy. Just on the other side of quite a small channel is an area where a lot of coral died in 2016 and 17 bleaching, the same species of plate corals and branching corals. The difference here that it survived is probably just the local water movement and cooler currents.
After the bleaching, it was so horrific, and you'd come out here and you'd be virtually in tears, like watching corals that you'd seen around for years dying, and it was more that just trying to do something.
So that then led to change in policy to start looking at, well, what things can you do to intervene to try to either help the coral recover or build resilience so there's less likely to be such big impacts.
So these are the coral clips that John actually has the patent on these in Australia.
We came up with a new way to plant coral, which was much, much faster than the existing methods. So now coral clips are used in 18 other countries as well as just in Australia. We can show you a planted coral and a wild coral, and there's actually no difference between them. They're both from the same genetic stock.
And if you can't quite grasp how this coral clip is put to work, John has you covered.
The analogy was with Elton John and having hair plugs, that obviously if you had a receding hairline and you want to look like you've got healthy hair, you don't want people to notice that it's done. So
do you regret saying that?
I do regret saying that, especially every year I regret it more.
At the moment we're seeing really amazing recovery. So a lot of young corals, like quite rapid growth at the moment, lots of colour, but we're just very, very grateful that there has been so much amazing natural recovery. What we're doing is a very small part of it, but it's just really a fantastic result and does give hope.
John and Jenny are unlikely to leave for greener pastures or more corally reefs anytime soon.
This is what we're here for. This is the dream, and we're here living it.
If you want to see John and Jenny's incredible coral conservation project for yourself, check out the Wavelength website or simply head to queensland.com.au for more info on our beautiful Great Barrier Reef. If you missed anything on today's show or want some more information on the story, head to our website, 9.com.au/myway. All our episodes up on 9 now. And shout out to the Benson Hotel in Cairns who looked after the My Way team for this very special episode. On the next My Way, more stories of inspiring Australians who are doing things their way. We'll see you then on My Way.